Yeah, they're definitely
And
going to
but
say that.
if you see like talk about someone throwing up his hands who knows he's going to lose, who's down in the polls right now, Rick Scott, he's absolutely going crazy, and that's the difference between Democrats and Republicans. And sometimes I think that Democrats should fight more like Republicans do because like they seem to be a lot more effective. They need to get these like protesters up in there. Like, but it just shows it's just so unappealing to see like these people come out and do this. Ugh, it just rubs probably a lot of normal people the wrong way.
Oh yeah, definitely. Um, the three hands part of the Democrats, yeah, they'll definitely be fine that they lost, but they'll probably be more probably upset at the fact if DeSantis just pull off another win here. I mean, that's going to be 24 years of Republican control in Florida, which I think could have definitely ended in this election if we had a different person win the primary. Um, but I mean, you know what? That's fine. We learned from this mistake that we made. We learned from the facts that, Gillum lost. He did have a chance, but you know what? The young people decided not to go out and vote in big numbers. That's fine. And the Republicans did outnumber Democrats actually in voting this year. Sure, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the young people did go out and vote in big numbers. But you know what? Maybe you don't need this is what I believe in Florida. I think you need to get a moderate person in there first, not super moderate. I don't align with moderates. I'm not really a dead center moderate myself. I would vote for a moderate, but you know what? In a state like Florida, you definitely would need a moderate first to see that they can actually like Democrats again, and then I would be fine having Gillum run again after we would have a moderate. I'm not saying I'm against Gillum running in the whole entire place. I just don't think that he had a very high chance of beating DeSantis, who really aligned with a lot of the crazy Republicans down there. I mean, just look at it. Look at how many crazy Republicans are down in
Yeah,
Florida.
and you see them like right in front of you see them right in front of the protesting office. It's like there's a bunch of like
Yeah.
sweaty like fat dudes in Trump hats coming out and saying things like that, and it's just like absolutely yeah, it's pretty crazy that they have this guy coming out here and saying this. But personally, I think one of the reasons why Gillum won is because I just don't think he ran really enough of an extended campaign to actually get out the people there and vote for him, because he definitely like all the kind of left wing excitement that he had that Bill Nelson did not have. Bill Nelson had kind of more the moderate support. The real hardcore left wingers in Florida, they supported Andrew Gillum, and like a lot of the air came out of their sails. A lot of the wind came out of their sails when they saw Gillum take a massive right hand turn after he won the primary, because again he thought he'd be more moderate. Like I think it's so important in elections to stay true to like what you are, what you ran out, and what got you to the place that you're at. Like there's a reason why he won that Democratic primary. And I think like if he had came out and convinced a lot of people, which I think he would have done if he actually ran a campaign that juiced up the Democratic base based on policy and based on things like Medicare for all and like really issues, healthcare, free college stuff, like people like issues Floridians really care about, and also by the way dunking on Ron DeSantis a few times. I think like that would have been a lot better, but instead he campaigned with people that are like just so bad, like Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, Debbie Wasserman Schultz.
Yeah, definitely a lot of
And
bad people.
yeah, and that's not.
I mean,
I don't think I think that's what would really kind of kill them in the end. But I don't know.
yeah. I mean, I'm not saying for him to change his views. I think his views are fine. I just personally think that someone who was more moderate, like Glenn Graham. I don't like Levine. When I've talked to many people about this race before, and like, did you support Levine? I was like, no, I don't support Levine. It's like, who did you support? I said, I support Gwen Graham. It's like, well, she's not really that moderate. I said, well, yeah, she's not that moderate, but she's less left wing as Gillum, which might have gotten more of the moderate Republicans to go and vote. I mean, Florida's was pretty energized this year, as I expected it to be. I mean, Florida, they had Rick Scott running, a governor who a lot of Republicans like. That definitely energized the Republicans to go out and vote to try to get out Nelson. Rick Scott ran a pretty tough campaign against Nelson. Nelson, he didn't really campaign a lot down there, but you know what showed me the fact of how Nelson actually held Rick Scott off by his moderation. That should probably show people maybe in 2022 what type of Democrat we should have running in 2022 gubernatorial election and also the 2022 senatorial election against Marco Rubio. We should have someone who would definitely vote with the left, but would probably definitely bring moderation to them as their first term. Or, I mean, they could bring moderation like Gwen Graham, but I guarantee you the second Gwen Graham got into office, she definitely would have had a lot of left views. I mean, she had the similar views on environmental issues. She had very similar views with Gillum on education. The only thing that they had a little different was healthcare. She's not against Medicare for all, but everyone thinks that she's against it. The only two people in the campaign who were against Medicare for all was Jeff Green and Phil Levine. Phil Levine was like literally like a tilt red Democrat. Like I swear, he supported Marco Rubio in 2016. he literally was against Bernie Sanders running. He actually first supported Marco Rubio's campaign for president.
As a
Again,
Democrat.
yeah, as a Democrat. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
I
crazy.
don't even support Levine, and he's people say, oh yeah, he's the moderate guy in the race. Yeah, he is, but I think Gwen Graham, who's the lady I supported, I think that she had a chance of winning. Actually, I mean, look, she got 3% less than Gillum. She probably would have had a nice swift win against DeSantis, as she would have got the independents going for her. I don't really care about the Republicans. Republicans probably even wouldn't go for her because she was against a lot of things that Rick Scott was for. Shockingly enough, Chris King, the lieutenant governor pick for Gillum, was less left than Gwen Graham. He completely was against the idea of having more taxation for the environmental. His outlook of the environment was very left still, but he didn't agree with the gas tax hike like Gwen Graham was for, which I actually agree with. And Gillum also, I believe, agreed with the slight gas tax hike and also the hike of the corporation tax hike, which Gillum supported. Gwen Graham supported it, but it was a very slim increase that she had since she wanted the economy to still grow. But she definitely would have been a good Democrat pick, I think. I mean, she wouldn't have been a bad, like, she's not a moderate. I don't know why people think she was moderate. She definitely is more moderate than Gillum is, but she wouldn't have been a bad. I personally, for me, I don't think she would have been a bad. Look, it's better than having her than having DeSantis. That's the only thing that I really would have to say
All right, yeah.
about with DeSantis
Mhm.
with Graham than DeSantis, because now they're gonna get stuck with DeSantis probably, and that's another 24 years of Republican control in Florida. And look at what they're going. And they have strong economy, but their economy is weak. Their economy is like a potato chip. It's going to break at any moment.
Yeah,
It's
that's
tourism
not
based. It's
assuring.
tourism based.
Yeah, not very
It's
assuring at all.
it's literally based off the fact if someone wants to go on vacation or not. Right now, people are going on vacation because the economy is doing relatively well, but people think oranges are big in Florida. Oranges only are 12% of the Florida economy. Their agriculture business is actually like very slim. For example,
Nikki
say like
Fried.
California. Yeah, say like
Yeah,
California, for
but like
example.
before we get like too much on that, I just want to go very quickly with the Georgia.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, sure.
how's that
Yeah.
going?
The gubernatorial election right now in Georgia, um, she's gaining ground actually. Right now it's like a 2% difference between Kemp and Stacey Abrams. Um, it's just like a nail biting difference. It's actually 1.5. Actually, it's not even 2%. 1.5%. It looks like the Libertarian is definitely acting as a little bit of a spoiler here. Ted Metz, 0.9%. He got out of the vote. He's definitely acting like a little spoiler, but he's actually probably acting like a little spoiler with maybe some Republicans voting for him. But some good news with Atlanta's House races, though. We have gained one seat in Atlanta, outside Atlanta, Georgia's District 6, which, funny enough, Karen Handel
John
won.
Ossoff race.
Yep, yep. Karen Handel has lost her re-election by 1% to Lucy McBath, who is a former flight attendant. She has lost her race. I mean, just right after a special election, winning by literally 4%, she lost by 1%. I mean, just it's good to see that happen, especially since I think that was definitely long overdue for that district, since that district is not that much of a Republican district.
Yeah, so that's very positive news coming there from Georgia. Good to see that stuff coming out, and then of course Rhoda pretty much officially declared victory in California over Dana Rohrabacher, the Putin Russia guy who was big with them and also a very big Trump-backed congressman. He is now going to be out. Thank God we can clean his hands of all those our hands of at least one more of those weird California Republicans we keep seeing. The only one left really right now is like Devin Nunes. He's the only weird California Republican left to go. So yeah, someone better come in there and primary him. All right. That is our update on the races that are still going on. May they soon end, and may the good Democrats, like the real good Democrats out there, come in and be victorious, because we need, definitely, it would do to have someone like a Bill Nelson in the Senate, especially with some of the key votes that are coming up. Just to have one more Democrat in there would be incredibly helpful.
Definitely helpful.
All right, that's it for today's Red Alert. We will be back Tuesday with your regularly scheduled Newsflash programming.